Good afternoon. I'm in Holywood. I'm at Holywood Priory Cemetery, and I'm down here to witness a tribute that's going to be performed to the life of local man Henry Harrison, 1867 through to 1954. And this commemoration has been organised by the University of the Third Age in Hollywood. This isn't some mystical group or anything like that. It's a sort of youth club for the for older folk. The group was actually concerned that Henry Harrison and his contribution has largely been forgotten in the mists of time. So to try and ensure that his contribution is still remembered and kept alive, every year this commemoration and church service, short church service, is held at his graveside. And you might ask yourself, who exactly was Henry Harrison that such a tribute should be made? Well, he was one of the big landowning families of Hollywood. The family owned in the region of 500 acres in and around Hollywood. He went to his family went to the local Church of Ireland church. So he was a landowner, he was a Protestant, but he was one of those rare commodities in Northern Ireland or Ulster. He was an Irish Protestant nationalist. He became MP for Tipperary in 1890 at the age of 23, and he made further to that a significant contribution to Irish life and Irish history. He spoke up for the poor. He was a Parnell supporter. He was Parnell supporter bar none. He was the author of 10 books. He was a military man. He fought for the Royal Irish Regiment in World War I. Henry Harrison fought at the Battle of the Somme. His son John fought at the Gallipoli fiasco and died from wounds received there. But throughout it all, this man who many would say is an enigma, he fought for Irish rights and Irish neutrality and for home rule. And the commemoration this afternoon is drawing people from all arts and parts. And this gentleman here is Canon James Sims, and he will be conducting the little ceremony of remembrance for Henry Harrison, son of Holywood, buried in Holywood graveyard. And this is a rare treat to actually get inside Holywood Priory. Right. Dating probably from the 12th century. And folk are gathered here in front of the Harrison grave.
This is called the Harrisons of Holywood Fair. I didn't write it, but the Harrisons of Hollywood were kind in their day. So they bought up the town, then gave it away. A new schoolhouse is necessary. The squire will subscribe. The maypole is missing. The squire will provide. Fine tennis courts and rugby grounds came straight from his hand. Ireland's first golf course was built free on his land. Denominational ties were a thing of the past. When building a church, you had only to ask. The double doors of the great house lay wide to the poor. For those more discreet, there were banquets galore. They buried their progeny in the old priory walls, as last of the Parnell nights duly recalls. So 3 cheers for the Harrisons of Holywood fame. Lift your glass in toast to their generous name.
Thanks, Billy. I'm going to begin with the reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. And I printed it out in large print last night and left it at home. Okay. No, honestly, I'm fine. No, I'm fine, thanks. So, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, beginning with the first verse. To every time there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. What profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? I have seen the travail which God hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also he hath set the world in their heart, so that no one can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. I know that there is no good in them, but for a man to rejoice and to do good in his life. And also that every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labour. This is the gift of God. The word of the Lord. And a few prayers. Lord, we give you thanks at this time for the life and work of Henry Harrison, the contribution he made to this land in wartime and in peace, for his involvement in this our town of Holywood, its social and commercial life. We commend his soul to your eternal keeping. May he rest in peace and rise in glory through Jesus Christ our Lord.
Henry.
This is Henry Harrison's grave here in Holywood Priory.
He died on the
1954.
and to his father.
20th of February. Yes, that's today's
His father,
date.
Henry Harrison.
That's the father.
Yes.
And then the sister.
Of Holywood House, yes. Who died 1873.
Yep.
Yeah. And his mother, Letitia.
1930.
He died 1930. And his son.
His son, as a result of war wounds encountered at Gallipoli.
This must be the other branch.
This is the other branch, yes.
See, there's
Their sons, John. That must have been the Unionist one.
and Jake. No,
Oh,
Jake
yes.
died in that year.
Died a similar Richard.
Yes, except that.
He died quite early.
Yes,
young.
yes, indeed.
And Richard died quite young.
In the 18...
Oh, that's Harriet Scott. Died in 1836. No idea.
So much history encapsulated in this small plot of land, of graves, and other important Holywood families have their folks buried here too.
Well, he roamed around the Testament for the last year. So I came from Lower Canterbury. I didn't realise that he went to Hollywood.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And
Holywood Priory, a rare opportunity to see inside. The ladder up to the bell tower. And it's good to remember people who have made a worthwhile contribution from the past. And it might spur us on to doing likewise.